Hey, Domi, take a look at this picture. These girls are twins, and everything about them looks the same. But wait, there's a little difference.
Oh, I see. Their hats are different. One has a blue hat and the other has a red one. That's the only way I can tell them apart.
Nice observation, Domi. So, if we're talking about this little difference, what phrasal verb could we use here?
Good question, Drew. We could definitely use tell apart, as in, I can tell them apart by their hats.
Ah, that makes sense. So, like, without the hats, it would be hard to tell these twins apart, right?
Exactly. Tell apart works perfectly when you're noticing a small difference in things that look almost the same.
Got it. Are there any other phrasal verbs we could use in this situation, Domi?
Sure, we could also say pick out, like, I picked out the difference by noticing their hats.
Oh, I like that. Pick out the difference. It's like being a detective with details.
Yep. And we could even use point out, like, I pointed out the hats to show the difference.
You're a genius, Domi. Now I know exactly which phrasal verbs to use when spotting small differences.
Anytime, Drew. Happy to help with our phrasal verb detective work.
Hey, Domi, look at this picture. The man and woman look so happy, just laughing so hard. It's like they're having the time of their lives.
Yeah, Drew. You can almost hear their laughter. They look like they're really enjoying themselves.
So, Domi, which phrasal verb would fit here? Any ideas?
Let's see. Could we use head off here?
Actually, not quite, Domi. Head off is more about preventing something, like stopping a problem before it happens.
Oh, right. That makes sense. I guess head off wouldn't fit for laughter. But laughing their heads off sounds perfect, since they're laughing so hard.
Exactly. Great thinking, Domi. You really know how to explore these phrasal verbs.
Thanks, Drew. And I love how you're always open to trying out new expressions. It makes learning so much more interesting.
Couldn't agree more, Domi. Learning with you makes it all so much fun. Hey, Domi, look at this scene. The police are really blocking off the road. They're even using a spike strip to stop anyone from getting through.
Yeah, Drew. They're taking every measure possible. The spike strip and roadblocks. Looks like they're doing everything to make sure no one escapes.
Definitely. They're really serious about stopping anyone from going further. So, Domi, how about a little test? Let's see if you can find the right phrasal verb for this situation.
All right, Drew, bring it on. What's the question?
Here it goes. The police set up roadblocks to the suspects from escaping. Any ideas?
Let me think. Since they're trying to prevent the suspects from getting away, I'd go with head off. So, the answer would be, the police set up roadblocks to head off the suspects from escaping.
Exactly, Domi. You nailed it. Head off means taking action to stop something before it happens, and that's exactly what the police are doing here.
Thanks, Drew. I wasn't sure at first, but your hint really helped.
Anytime, Domi. You're getting really good at this. I'm impressed.
Thanks, Drew. It's fun figuring these out with you.
Hey, Domi, look at this first image with the cat jumping off the roof. What phrasal verb would you use for this?
That's definitely get down. The cat is getting down from the roof, as it's coming down from a high place.
Exactly. You use get down when something or someone comes down from a high position, like the cat in this case. Now, check out the second image with people stepping off the plane. What do you think?
For this one, it's get off. The passengers are getting off the plane, meaning they are leaving the airplane and stepping onto the ground.
Perfect. We use get off when people leave a vehicle like a bus, plane, or train. Speaking of vehicles, what about this third image where the plane is landing on the runway?
I'd say the plane is getting down onto the runway because it's descending from the air to the ground.
You got it. When an airplane lands or descends from the sky, we can say it's getting down onto the runway. So, get down works when something comes from a high place. And get off is used for leaving a vehicle. Make sense?
Absolutely. Thanks for the clear examples, Drew.
Let's go, Domi. To make sure you've mastered this topic, I'll ask you some questions. Ready? Here's the first one. A cat is coming down from a high place. Which phrasal verb fits this situation?
That's easy. The answer is get down, because the cat is coming down from a high spot.
Excellent. That's correct, Domi. Well done. Here's an example sentence. The firefighter helped the child get down from the tree. See how we use get down here?
I get it now. Let me try making a sentence. The balloon slowly got down to the ground after losing air.
That's a great example, Domi. Well done. Let's move on to the next question. Here's the second question. People are leaving an airplane and stepping onto the ground. Which phrasal verb would you use?
That's definitely get off because they're leaving the airplane.
Spot on. Great job, Domi. Here's an example. The passengers got off the plane quickly after it landed.
Thanks, Drew. Here's my example. When the bus reached the stop, everyone got off immediately.
Brilliant example, Domi. You're nailing this. Let's try the next one. Final question. A plane is landing on the runway. Which phrasal verb describes this action?
It's get down because the plane is coming down to land.
Perfect. That's absolutely correct, Domi. Here's an example sentence. The plane got down safely despite the stormy weather.
Thanks, Drew. Let me try one. As the helicopter got down onto the field, the rescue team jumped out.
Amazing example, Domi. You've really mastered these phrasal verbs. Keep it up.
Thanks, Drew. This was super helpful. Let's do more like this next time.
Absolutely, Domi. You're doing great.
Oh no, look at this scene, Drew. The boss is checking his watch and really scolding that guy for being late. You can see it on his face. He's really upset.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, Domi. What phrasal verb could we use to describe this situation?
Let me think. Instead of scolding? Oh, I got it. We could say tell off, right? What do you think? I feel like tell off is the perfect phrasal verb for this situation.
Absolutely. Tell off fits perfectly. We could say the boss told him off for being late to work. That guy's probably going to think twice before being late again. By the way, do you know any other phrasal verbs that could describe this situation?
Definitely. How about chew out or rip into?
Great suggestions, Domi. You can definitely use those phrasal verbs instead of tell off. You know, the boss is clearly not happy with him showing up late. Maybe the guy will get dismissed if it happens again. Domi, I have a question for you. Instead of get dismissed, what phrasal verbs could we use here?
Oh, I got it. We could say get fired instead of get dismissed. It fits perfectly in this context, right?
Wow, that's an excellent choice. Get fired is exactly the phrasal verb we needed. Well done. But before that, I bet the boss will call him out in front of the whole team if this keeps happening.
Or maybe he'll give him a warning first. But either way, getting told off like that is pretty rough.
Congratulations, Domi. You used the phrasal verb told off in your sentence. Told off is a great phrasal verb, meaning to speak angrily to someone because they've done something wrong. Also, being told off in front of everyone isn't the right way to handle things.
I definitely agree with you.
I wonder if the employee will make up for it by working extra hard now. What do you think about the phrasal verb make up for?
I think the phrasal verb make up for is used to mean compensating for a mistake or a deficiency. Is that correct?
You're absolutely right. You're amazing with phrasal verbs, Domi. Congratulations! We used some great phrasal verbs thanks to this visual scene. We had a wonderful dialogue. Creating dialogue based on visual elements is a fantastic idea for practicing.
You're absolutely right, Drew.
Hey, Domi, look at these images. They're all about filling something, but each one uses a different phrasal verb. Let's start with the first one. It's a gas station, and the guy is fueling the car. Do you remember which phrasal verb fits here?
Of course. That's fill up. He's filling up the car with gas, meaning he's making the tank full. Or you can also use fill up when a place gets full of people like a restaurant.
Exactly. Fill up is used when you're filling something completely, like a gas tank, or when a place becomes full of people. For example, the restaurant filled up quickly during dinner time, meaning it became full of customers. Now, what about this second one? It's a form with multiple sections: name, address, phone number, all the details. Which phrasal verb would you use for that?
That's an easy one. You use fill out when you're completing a form with information. So you fill out this form by writing in all the required details.
Perfect! You fill out a form when it's something official and requires a lot of information. Now, what about this last image? It's a simpler form, only needing the name, surname, and address.
This one is for fill in. It's for when you just have to write in a few blanks. So, here you fill in your name and address in the provided spaces.
Great! So, to recap, fill up when you make something completely full, like a gas tank. Fill out when you complete an official form with lots of details. And fill in when you just add a few details to the blanks. Make sense?
Totally. I'll definitely remember these now. Thanks, Drew. Look at this image, Drev. The man is pouring tea in such a peaceful setting. I love how serene it feels.
Yeah, Domi, it's so calming. I think he's really taking in the moment, don't you think?
Taking in? What does that mean, Drev?
It's a phrasal verb that means to absorb or appreciate something, like when you're fully experiencing and enjoying the atmosphere around you.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. And it looks like he's carrying on with his daily routine without any rush.
Carrying on? What does that mean, Domi?
It means to continue or keep doing something. In this case, it looks like he's continuing with his tea ritual, maybe something he does every day.
Got it! It's interesting how he's just pouring out the tea with such focus.
Oh, that's another good one. What does pouring out mean, Drev?
It's pretty literal here. He's emptying the teapot by letting the tea flow out. But you can also use it metaphorically, like when someone pours out their emotions.
I see. This setting makes me want to just sit back and relax.
Sit back? What does that mean, Domi?
It means to relax and not worry about anything, kind of like how he's doing here with his tea.
I love how many phrasal verbs we can use from just this one peaceful scene, Domi.
Hey, Drev, do you see that? The steam is rising from the tea. It must be really hot.
Yeah, Domi. And look, there are drops of tea falling from the bottom of the pot. I think the teapot might be leaking.
Oh, wow, you're right. Do you think the teapot is broken?
It sure looks like it, the way the tea is dripping down like that.
Dripping down? What's that supposed to mean, Drev?
Haha! It's a phrasal verb that means liquid is falling in small drops, just like what's happening here.
Oh, I get it. I didn't expect the teapot to give out like this.
I give out? What do you mean, Domi?
It means to stop working or to break. Looks like this poor teapot is giving up on us.
Ha! I see what you mean now. Well, even if the teapot's leaking, the tea still looks amazing. So well brewed.
Yeah, I agree. I think this guy really nailed it with the tea brewing.
Nailed it? What's that?
Oh, that's just a way of saying someone did something perfectly. Like he brewed the perfect cup of tea despite the leaky pot.
Haha, you're right. The steam, the dripping tea, everything is perfect in its own way.
Exactly. Even the teapot is adding its own charm. Ha ha ha.
Haha, I never thought a leaky teapot would make me appreciate tea even more.
Drev, Did you notice how many phrasal verbs we used?
Yeah, Domi, we used quite a few. Taking in, carrying on, pouring out, sit back, dripping down, give out, and nailed it. That's 7 in total.
Exactly. I think we practiced some great phrases we can use in everyday life just by talking about this photo.
Definitely. We should congratulate ourselves, Domi. This was such a productive conversation.
I agree, Drev. Now we'll be able to use these phrasal verbs more comfortably in real situations.
For sure. I think we can move on to the next scene now.
I'm excited, Drev.
All right, let's keep going. You know, Domi, we used so many phrasal verbs in that conversation about the tea scene. I think we should test ourselves. What do you think?
That sounds like a great idea, Drew. Let's see how well we remember them. You go ahead and ask the first question.
All right, Domi, here's the first one. Which phrasal verb means to absorb or appreciate something fully, like enjoying the peaceful moment of tea pouring?
Let me think. Oh, it's definitely take in.
Spot on, Domi. You're absolutely right. We can say something like, when we visit the mountains, we always take in the breathtaking views.
Oh, wow, Drew. That's such a beautiful example. It really helped me understand this phrasal verb even better.
That's a fantastic example, Domi. I love how you connected it to a real-life experience. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, next one. Which phrasal verb means to continue or keep doing something, like sticking to a daily routine?
Oh, that's easy, Drew. It's carry on.
Nailed it, Domi. Great job. For example, you could say, even though it was raining, they decided to carry on with the picnic.
That's another great example, Drew. Let me try. Even after failing a few times, she decided to carry on with her dream of becoming a writer.
Amazing example, Domi. You're really getting the hang of these. Ready for the next one? All right, Domi, here's a tricky one. What phrasal verb can describe liquid falling in small drops, like the tea from the leaky pot?
Haha, nice try, Drew. It's drip down.
You're unstoppable, Domi. Perfect answer. Here's how we can use it. The rain was so heavy that water started to drip down from the ceiling.
That's such a vivid example, Drew. Let me give one. The paint was so wet that it began to drip down the wall.
Brilliant, Domi. I can see the scene in my head. You're really dripping with creativity. Let's keep going. Now, how about this one? Which phrasal verb describes something breaking or stopping to work, like the teapot that might be leaking?
That's give out.
Excellent, Domi. I'm impressed. For example, after running the marathon, his legs started to give out from exhaustion.
That's a perfect illustration, Drew. Here's mine. The old flashlight finally gave out after years of use.
Love that, Domi. It's such a relatable example. Let's tackle the next question. Last one for now. Which phrasal verb means doing something perfectly, like brewing the perfect tea despite challenges?
Oh, that's my favorite, Drew. It's nail it.
Perfect, Domi. You nailed this question just like the tea brewer nailed it with his tea-making skills. For instance, you can say, she really nailed it with her presentation at work.
Thanks, Drew. That's such a sharp example. Here's mine. He nailed it on his first attempt at baking a cake.
Haha, that's a delicious example, Domi. You've really mastered these phrasal verbs.
Thanks, Drew. But I think we both nailed it. This was such a great practice session.
Totally agree, Domi. It's so rewarding to see how much we've learned just by discussing a single scene. Phrasal verbs aren't as intimidating as they seemed before, huh?
Not at all, Drew. I feel like they've become second nature now. And it's all thanks to these fun little conversations we have.
Same here, Domi. I can't wait to try these out in real-life situations. Who knows? Maybe next time we'll come across even more interesting phrasal verbs.
I'm sure we will, Drew. For now, let's take in this little victory of ours and carry on with our journey.
You're so right, Domi. Let's do that. High five for being such an awesome learning buddy.
High five, Drew. Let's keep learning and having fun along the way.